Good morning. Welcome to Yoga Instructor course by Swami Vivekananda Yoga Ashram. Today we are entering into the block 3, Indian culture and its foundations. Culture, what is the meaning of the culture? This is the first point we need to understand. Culture means the total accumulation of material objects, ideas, symbols, beliefs, and sentiments, values, and social forms which are passed on from one generation to another in any given society, says Professor K.A. Neelakanta Shastri. So the Professor K.A. Neelakanta Shastri defines what is the culture. Whatever we have received from our elders, it is passing from one generation to the another generation. The way you live, the way you behave, what kind of food you eat, what is your ideology, what is your belief, what are your sentiments, what are your values. Even these values will be there, family to family, the different values will be there. There are different symbols, different ideas, different ways of worship. Family to family, it is a different. Take the example, recently we celebrated a couple of festivals. One of the festival was Sankranti. In the Sankranti festival, some people will make the milk, so like a palu ponginchadamu antam. So certain families will do this one, certain families won't do. Because this is given by their parents, their elders. That is their family values. And if you look at this Deepavali, in the Deepavali time also, people have a one particular thing called Arati. Some people will take the Aratis in the early morning, some people will take the Arati afternoon. That is called their family culture. And in our Indian tradition, we are also having Kula Devata and Gruha Devata and family Devata. So all this comes under culture. The study of Indian culture is of a special significance to us because it is still a living factor in the life of nearly 1/7 of the human race. How this culture arose nearly? He says more than 5,000 years ago. But if you really go and look into this one, you cannot find out when it was started. You cannot find out the beginning date. So how it developed and was enriched in subsequent centuries, and finally how it has come down to us as a rich human legacy is therefore a very fascinating and rewarding study, this particular topic. In Indian culture, we are also having something called Gotra. What do you mean by Gotra? Gotra is nothing but is coming from a specific Rishi Parampara. That means so from one particular Rishi, it is handed down to their children, from their children, from their children, and today we call it is called Gotra. Gotra is nothing but it indicates which Rishi we are belonging to. So which parampara we are belonging, which dynasty we are. And within the Gotra, again, you are having the family name, surname. Some names are came based on the village where they are used to live. Some names came based on the work what they are used to do. What they means, not recent time, maybe 100, 200 years ago. These family names, surnames is a recent things only, some hundreds of years, not the thousands. Because I know few of my friends, their family name and their village name is the one. Then when I inquired how you got, whoever was used to live in that village, they got the same family name, like a surname. So like that, there are many things are there. So all these things comes under the culture. And exclusively today's study, based on our syllabus, we will be looking into two types of culture. One is material culture. The second one is mind culture. Okay, let us see what is this material culture first. And when you look into this material culture, we have to go back to the history. Let us see this study material. It is best because you may get confused if I take the topic in general. So the subject of Indian culture has a long history and is very interesting for a special reason. Every ancient culture holds some interest for all of us. But when the culture is a continuing culture, that interest becomes much more contemporary, much more topical. There are so many cultures are there. The cultures are coming and cultures are continuing. There are certain cultures which are already vanished. What the study material says, if any culture which is not vanished, still it is a continuing, that indicates for the seeker to know more enthusiastically, more interestingly. Every one of you interested to know about your own family culture. Na? Now, just now our Srinivas Reddy Garu is sending a message. His surname, his family name also came from the village only. Garmella is a village name. So like that, everyone will be interested. Oh, I am from so and so place. My father from so and so place. I want to know more about my village. I want to know more about from where my great grandparents came. And people are interested to do something for their village, their roots. Most of the people, especially this modern generation, people are showing more interest to find out their roots, going back to their roots. Who are my parents? Who are the parents of my parents? Who are the parents of my great grandparents? Now the scenario is changing, my dear friends. In the previous days, people used to, okay, shall I have the food for eating? Shall I having the money to sleep? A house? These are enough. Now the generation is changing. These are 22nd children. The modern students are very much interested to know more and more about their roots. And they are ready to do something for their roots. Only thing, they need to have the proper guidance. And in the case of the study of the ancient cultures, like a Babylonian or the Egyptian or the ancient Greek, we study them more from a historical point of view. This Greek history and Egyptian history, we study just from the history point of view. You know why? Because now it is not there. Just to enrich ourselves from the experience of the past. But in the last 50 years, there has been a resurgence of interest in all ancient cultures and civilizations. All over the world, take the case of America. There are lots of scholars who are investigating what is shown as shamanic culture of the Native Americans. And Americans, the original culture is not the Christianity. Please make a note. It is the shamanic culture of the Native Americans, the original Americans. Their basic culture is a shamanic culture. And Carlos Castaneda, who joined, there was one guy, there was one person, his name was Carlos Castaneda. This person is very much interested to do the research on this culture. So what he did, he joined in a University of California in the Santa Cruz campus to do his PhD. And this person selected a topic called anthropology. Anthropology deals about these cultures and different things. Anthropology choose as his subject some of the historic doctrines and ideas of Yuki Indians. Okay. And people who live in Central America, he went to Central America, lived there for the nearly 3 to 4 years with a mystic shaman called Don John. There was one person, the mysticism means like a kind of Swami kind of thing, what we call. a great person, one who knows about that culture. So he lived with that person. His name is Don John. Based upon his experiences, and this Carlos Castedena, he wrote a book. The book called The Teachings of the Don John. And this book became world famous and a bestsellers because there were lots of ideas which could be taken from this book for the solution of the modern problems. In the virginal cultures, in the virginal things, there are so many ideas, so many beliefs, which helps us to lead a life very happily. See, look at our own just understanding. If you interact with your parents, the people, those who are used to live in a joint family, how is the life? And the people, those who are living in a nuclear family, how is the life? In the joint family, there are so many people. We don't require any psychiatrist, any psychologist. If you are living in a joint family, we don't require anything because the joint family takes care. Elder people will be there. They takes care. Unfortunately, these days we are becoming whatever may be the reasons. The nuclear families. So the more advantage used to be there in the joint family, especially when the great grandparents are there. So this book reveals those ideas to live a life very happily. And he says in that book, he says the book for the solution of modern problems, whatever may be the modern problem, we can find the solution from the ancient culture. That is highlighted in that book. So in his famous series of books, he is not only written only one book, he also wrote some other books. The other book name is called Story of Civilization. The American philosopher Will Durant says, nothing should more deeply shame the modern student than the recency and inadequacy of his acquaintance with India. Here is a vast peninsula of nearly 2 million square miles, two-thirds as large as the United States, and the 20 times the size of the ex-master Great Britannian. There the number is given 104 with 6 zeros. More than in all North and South American combined, or 1/5 of the population of the earth. An impressive continuity of development and civilization from Mohenjo-daro 2900 BC or earlier to Gandhi, Roman and Tagore phase, compassing every stage from barbarous idolatry to the most subtle and spiritual pantheism. Philosophers playing 1,000 variations on one monastic theme from the Upanishads. 8th centuries after him, scientists developing astronomy 3,000 years ago and winning Nobel Prizes in our own time. Democratic constitutions of untraceable antiquity in the villages, and wise and beneficent rulers like Ashoka and Akbar. In the capitals, minerals singing great epics almost as old as Homer, and poets holding world audience today. Artists rising gigantic temples for Hindu gods from Tibet to Ceylon and from Cambodia to Java are carving perfect palaces by the score of Mughal kings and queens. This is the India that patient scholarship is now opening up like a new intellectual continent to that Western mind which only yesterday thought civilization and exclusively European things. So whatever I read from this book, many people thought the culture means of civilization means it was the Egypt or Europe or America. People thought once when they came to know about India, Bharat, they have understood the value, they have understood what is the culture means, they have understood what is the civilization means. Because before all the civilizations on the world, Indian civilization was there. This civilization was explained in the Rig Veda. The Rig Veda, when the Rig Veda started, some thousands and thousands of years ago. Some people say 5,000, some people say 10,000, some people say 20,000. Why? Because we cannot able to point out the where it was started. But one thing is sure, it was there before all other civilizations, before all other cultures. So that is the glory of the Indian culture. That is the glory of the Indian civilization. The more we will be discussing about this topic. So before we discuss further, let us have some discussions here. Many people think how this culture is there in the culture. These things are there. So many. Some people point out there are some loopholes are there in the culture. My dear friend, there are no loopholes. Unfortunately, the people who are invaded India, they want to divide the people, so they created some problems in us. For example, I will give one point, like a caste system. This caste system was not there in India. Or even though if you say the caste system, caste word is not a proper word. That is not a proper English. In Sanskrit, it is called Varna. Varna is not the caste. Then what is a Varna? Varna means, let us understand, Varna means the class, not the caste. Varna means a class. Like if you take a modern, any company, any MNC, there will be a directors, a board of directors, there will be called managers, there will be called clerks, there will be called clerks, there will be called sub-staff. If you go to a bank, there is a chief manager, there is a manager, there is an officer, there is a clerk. And you take any organizational structure, there are some classes are given. The purpose of these classes is to run the organization in a very smooth way. And today clerk can be officer tomorrow. Today's officer can be a manager tomorrow. Today's manager can be a board of director tomorrow. So hence there is a no caste system. It is called a Varna. Varna means a specific group, means that specific responsibilities. So a clerk will have a special responsibilities. A officer will have certain responsibilities. A manager will have certain responsibilities. A board of director will have certain responsibilities. Take your own family. The father will have certain responsibilities. Mother will have certain responsibilities. If you are having the Amamma or Nanamma or Tata, they will have their own responsibility. Children will have their own responsibilities. It is introduced certain responsibility to run the organization in a smooth. What is the organization? The society is an organization. To run the society in a smooth, this system was given. Unfortunately, and because of so many external people, external groups, to spoil our culture, they made class into caste and they made into the vote bank politics. Till today it is going on. It is not the caste system. There is a beautiful statement from our scriptures. The statement says, just I would like to read for you because you all are upcoming yoga teachers. Our mythological, the Sanskrit statement says, Janmana jayate shudraha samskarat dvija uchyate. Shapanugraha samartyam tata krodaha prasannata. It is coming from the Skanda Purana, where it says, Janmana jayate shudraha samskarat dvija uchyate. That means by birth, everyone is a Shudra. Samskarat, by the samskara, by the character, by the values, one can become a Vaishya, one can become a Brahmana, one can become a Kshatriya. For example, you all are in a teaching profession. If you are in a teaching profession, that means you all are Brahmana. If you are in a administration, if you are a ruler, if you are in a politics, or if you are ruling the country as a police, you all comes under Kshatriya. If you are doing the like a business, Business means getting the goods and helping others, taking some profit, and all these things. Merchantage, commerce, this comes under Vaishya. And the other people, those who cannot do themselves any specific thing, but they are ready to support others. For example, there is a king was there. So king will have some supporting group, some helpers. A Vaishya is there, a business person is there. There will be some people to support him because bringing the goods and delivering the goods. And all these people comes under the Shudra. It does not mean that this Shudra will be Shudra all the time. This Shudra can become a Brahmana. That's what Skanda Purana very clearly says. Janmanaha Shudraha. By birth, everyone is a Shudra. By samskarat, by our culture, by our character, it decides whether you are a Brahmana, Vaishya, or Kshatriya. This is not the caste. Again, please make a note. This is a class. Like in a bank, if you go, there is a different employees. Class 1 employee, class 2 employee, class 3 employee, class 4 employee. I think most of you know, those who are interacting with the banks. In the bank, they says the class 1, class 2, class 3. What do you mean by class 1, class 2, class 3? It's nothing but, so instead of saying 1, 2, 3, in olden days, our people use it, given some names. Like a Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, and Shudra. And in Bhagavad Gita, he makes it very clearly, Bhagavan Sri Krishna. He says, based on the Guna Karma, this is given, not by birth. Bhagavan Sri Krishna makes it very clearly, this is not decided by birth, but based on the Guna and Karma. Guna means what Guna you are having, Sattva Guna, Rajo Guna, or Tamo Guna. And karma, what kind of karma are you doing? Karma means, are you doing some karma to help others? Are you doing some karma to take care of yourself? Are you doing some karma to do something else? So based on the guna and based on the karma, this class is decided. And my dear friends, this is not only in India. So this is the most important point for us. Otherwise, most of the time when we interact with the people will carry forward whatever the other people says. So I'm taking the opportunity of this Indian culture, the material culture, mind culture, and I'm explaining this topic to you because it is very, very important and very useful for us. So the word caste has its origin from the Spanish and Portuguese casta, which means race, lineage, or breed. It is the British who gave the name caste to the social structure in India. For our culture, Indian culture, the British, when they came, that time they introduced the English word called caste. Before the Britishers, we don't have the any word called caste. It was just Varna. Varna means people used to understand very clearly. Varna means, oh, this is a Tamoguna person, this is a Rajoguna person, this is a Sattwaguna person. In that way, people used to understand. So British did census in India in 1881, used rigid caste boundaries into which they force-fed the entire population and created the hierarchy of various groups suiting their convenience. It is the Britishers who spoiled our culture. It is the Britishers who imbibed the unnecessary things in our culture. Still, it is continuing in the name of political scenario now. The caste system is universal and not just limited to Hinduism or India. Many names are given like sects, creed, race, ethnic groups, demographic segments, etc. throughout the globe across all the religions, underlying the character being birth or ethnic race. And just for your information, these systems are there including in the Islam as well as in the Christianity. In the Muslims are divided into Shias and Sunnis. There are the different groups, and within these two different groups, there are 133 social groups. This is a recorded history. In the 1901, it was the census of India who first time officially recognized such stratification amongst the Muslims, listing 133 social groups, wholly or partially Muslims. In various parts of India, the subcontinent like Punjab, Gujarat, Bengal, Kerala, and others, we have many sects and subsects in the Muslims. For example, I can give some example like a Sunni Wora, Isamiela, Koja, and Dawoodi Bora, Memen. And if I have to take, we can talk on this topic a lot. And when you look into the Christianity, so my dear friends, within the Christianity, there are 4 groups. And this is a first-hand information I am sharing with you. When I went first time Russia, so one of my Russian friend told, in the Rome, there are 4 churches are there. 4 churches. One who goes this particular church will not go to the other church. One who goes to that church, he will not go to other church. What are those 4? That 4 are, one is the Catholics and Orthodox and Protestants and others. These are the 4 different groups are there. And within this each group, there are so many subdivisions are there. For each of the above divisions, there are thousands of the church denominations based on the ethnicity across the world. Adherent of each church have different social norms and hierarchy. In the Protestants alone, you have the Baptist, Evangelist, Methodist, Lutheran, and Anglican, and Pentecostal, Seventh-day Adventist, Assemblies of God, etc. These are the so many groups within the one sect. There are 4 sects. Within the 4, under each one, there are some hundreds and hundreds of sects are there, my dear friends. So please understand, when you are studying the Indian culture, don't underestimate the Indian culture. If anyone is trying to comment on Indian culture, you should know about the other countries, other philosophies, so that you can able to talk it properly. Unfortunately, this is our unfortunate thing. We don't know about our own culture. We don't know about our own Bhagavad Gita. We don't know about our own India. The name of the India also we don't know, many of us. That's a very sad when we don't know about our own self, when someone is coming and pointing out about our own culture, and we are carry forward. Hence, as yesterday class I mentioned, who is the yoga teacher? Yoga teacher is the ambassador of Indian culture. Don't forget about these things. Yoga teacher means just I am teaching the inhale, exhale, bend forward, bend back, and afterwards give my fees and get away from the class. That is not the yoga teacher. Yoga teacher is having the more responsibility than any other teachers. Any other teacher can teach only that subject matter. If the maths teacher will teach only the maths, he will teach. Maths teacher may not. He may teach, like our Srinivas Reddy Garu, he can teach all the subjects, but whatever we are talking, but one particular teacher will teach only that subject. But when you say yoga teacher, yoga is not a word related to the body bending forward, backward, left and right. Yoga is a universal word which is having the so vast meaning. Yoga is a way of life. Yoga is a culture. Yoga helps us to develop from the physical level, pranic level, mental level, intellectual level, and spiritual level. The Panchashil, the Panchakoshas are there. So whenever you say yoga teacher, something has to come in your mind, in your blood. What is that? I am the ambassador of Indian culture. When I say a yoga teacher means the ambassador of the Indian culture and ambassador of our glory. So hence we are discussing this topic. Some of you may be wondering why VYASA introduced this topic here, and why Srinivas is talking so much about on this topic. Only this much is there. Why we are talking so much? Because we need to talk. This is the opportunity for the teachers also. Otherwise, when can I explain to you all these things about Indian culture? The culture topic is given to us, so hence we have to understand this. The reason for this, then only you will become the best yoga teacher. And I'm sharing my experience with you, my dear friends. Before 2015 in International Day of Yoga, since last 22 years, I'm in the profession of yoga. Since 1999, I'm as a teacher, yoga teacher. But before the International Day of Yoga, also I used to travel the different countries because I'm having the friends with the different countries. They used to think yoga means only the asanas. But now the entire scenario is changed throughout the world. Yoga means not only the asanas, yoga means it is a culture, it is a way of life. Today, many of the Westerners, they are studying our Bhagavad Gita, they are studying our Patanjali Yoga Sutras, they are studying our scriptures, they are studying our Hatha Yoga Pradipika. More than our Indians, I am also Indian, but still I am saying more than us, Westerners knows about yoga a lot. I don't know whether I should feel proud or shame to say this one. No proud, no shame. This is a fact. It is a fact. Every year, at least another 200 people are coming to us to learn the Sanskrit. Because why I inquired, why you want to learn the Sanskrit? You know, Srinivas, the yoga philosophy is given in the Sanskrit. We want to understand the yoga philosophy better. Hence, we want to learn the Sanskrit. They are not studying the Sanskrit out of the love of the Sanskrit because they want to understand the yoga philosophy better. Hence, they want to study the Sanskrit. And for us, when we are teaching you the yoga instructor course, we are not even ready to attend all the classes 100%. Where is the commitment? Then how can we talk about the culture? The commitment will be there only those who are having the cultured people. The culture and commitment goes together. That is there in our Indian culture, that is there in our DNA. And just like that, don't take it for granted. Learn whatever you have taken the assignment. Make it serious. See the end of it. Swami Vivekananda says, arise, awake, stop not till the goal is reached. Definitely, there is a challenge is there. I will not say that everything is a smooth. Yes, I will agree with you. There are difficulties are there. There are some challenges are there. Yes, I agree with you. When we are trying to do something, definitely there will be some problems, some challenges, some difficulties comes in our life. That time only it is an opportunity for us to become very strong. The problems are coming to us to make you strong. The difficulties are coming to us to make you very strong. If you run away looking at the problems, problems will chase you like a hutch dog. Wherever you go, our network follows. The moment when you face the challenge will run away. That's what happened to Swami Vivekananda when in the Varanasi, when he's walking in his street, the bunch of monkeys are chasing the Swami Vivekananda. Swami Vivekananda got scared looking at the monkeys. Oh my God, monkeys are chasing me. So he started running. When Swami Vivekananda started running, the monkeys also started running more speed. Swami Vivekananda is running, behind him monkeys are running. And there was a one sadhu who is sitting under a tree and doing his sadhana, saw the situation and told the Swami Vivekananda, face the brutes. Immediately Swami Vivekananda stood there, turned back towards the monkeys. Sudden shock for the monkeys. Oh my God, this person is running. Suddenly stopped and turned towards me. The monkeys are started flying away. So as long as you run away from the problems, problems will chase you. The moment when you start facing the problems will become minimum. I'm not saying that you will not get the problems. You will get the problems, but you will become strong. What is the life if there are no problems? If everything is smooth, the tree also growing smooth, the animal also is growing smooth, you are also growing smooth. Animals also producing the children, we are also producing the children, trees also producing the fruits. Finish. What is there in the life? When your glory comes, when you become a hero, when you become a heroine, when there are problems in your life, when there are challenges in your life. So how to face the problems given by our Indian culture? It is there in our DNA. Unfortunately, We are not interested to know about our own culture. That is a problem. We are only looking at the things from external things. We are going behind them. So try to know your culture. That is the reason this syllabus is given to you. And after the break, we'll be continuing what is this material culture and what is the mind culture. The both we will see. Om. After the break, we'll meet. Om.